The year 1971 witnessed a horrific event, a genocide of immense scale, yet it remains largely absent from the global memory. This was the systematic extermination of Bengalis in East Pakistan, a tragedy that unfolded over 9 brutal months. It is a chapter of human history marked by unimaginable suffering and loss. Estimates suggest that up to 3 million Bengalis were killed during this period. Millions more were displaced, their lives shattered by state-sponsored violence. Despite its staggering human cost, this atrocity is often referred to as a forgotten genocide. The silence surrounding 1971 is a profound injustice. It denies the victims their rightful place in history and diminishes the lessons that must be learned. We must confront this forgotten past to understand its enduring impact. The roots of this tragedy lie in the 1947 division of British India. This partition created Pakistan, a nation geographically split into 2 distinct wings. West Pakistan and East Pakistan were separated by over 1,000 miles of Indian territory. East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, faced systematic economic and political neglect from its western counterpart. Resources were siphoned away, and political power remained concentrated in the west. This disparity fueled deep-seated resentment among the Bengali population. Despite having a larger population, East Pakistan was treated as a colony. Its cultural identity was suppressed, and its economic development deliberately stifled. This created an environment ripe for conflict. The simmering tensions reached a boiling point in the 1970 elections. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's Awami League, representing East Pakistan, won a landslide victory. This democratic mandate should have led to a transfer of power. However, the Pakistani military junta refused to recognize the election results. They denied the Awami League its rightful claim to govern. This blatant disregard for democracy set the stage for catastrophe. On March 25, 1971, the Pakistani army launched Operation Searchlight. This was a pre-planned military operation designed to crush Bengali nationalism. It marked the beginning of a brutal crackdown on the civilian population. The initial violence was swift and merciless, particularly in Dhaka. The capital city became the epicenter of a massacre. The military unleashed its might against an unsuspecting populace. Targets in Dhaka included students, intellectuals, and ordinary civilians. University dormitories were stormed, and residential areas were indiscriminately shelled. The aim was to instill terror and break the spirit of resistance. The initial violence quickly escalated into a widespread campaign of terror across East Pakistan. The military and its local collaborators unleashed unimaginable brutality. No one was safe from their wrath. Villages were systematically burned, their inhabitants often trapped inside. Homes were reduced to ashes, and entire communities were wiped out. The land itself became a witness to unspeakable horrors. Mass rapes were deliberately used as a weapon of war. This horrific tactic aimed to demoralize the population and destroy the social fabric. It left an indelible scar on countless lives. Estimates suggest that up to 200,000 women were subjected to sexual violence. Their suffering represents one of the darkest aspects of this genocide. The trauma endured by these survivors is immeasurable. Hindus were specifically targeted with extreme prejudice. They were systematically rounded up, massacred, and forced to flee their homes. Their religious identity became a death sentence. This targeting led to a mass exodus of refugees into neighboring India. Millions sought refuge across the border, escaping the relentless persecution. Their flight was a desperate bid for survival. The scale of killings during these 9 months is staggering. Estimates range from 300,000 to a horrifying 3 million deaths. Each number represents a life brutally extinguished, a family torn apart. After the war, mass graves were uncovered across the newly independent nation. These grim discoveries provided irrefutable evidence of the widespread atrocities. They bore silent witness to the genocide. As the war progressed, the Pakistani military systematically targeted intellectuals in Dhaka. This was a calculated effort to cripple the future leadership of an independent Bangladesh. They sought to decapitate the nation. Teachers, journalists, doctors, artists, and engineers were rounded up. In the final days of the war, they were executed en masse. Their knowledge and vision were seen as a threat to the occupation. This deliberate targeting aimed to create an intellectual vacuum. It was an attempt to ensure that even if Bangladesh gained independence, it would lack the minds necessary to build a strong nation. The scars of these losses run deep. The atrocities of the liberation were left deep and lasting scars on the survivors. Generations have grappled with the trauma, the loss, and the memory of what transpired. The nation itself was born from immense suffering. In December 1971, India intervened in the conflict. This decisive action turned the tide of the war. It brought an end to the 9 months of terror and bloodshed. The intervention led to Pakistan's surrender on December 16, 1971. This historic moment marked the birth of an independent Bangladesh. A new nation emerged from the ashes of genocide. However, justice for the victims was slow and inconsistent. Many perpetrators of these heinous crimes escaped accountability. The international community largely failed to hold them responsible. The recognition of the 1971 genocide remains a politically sensitive issue globally. Despite overwhelming evidence, many nations have yet to formally acknowledge the atrocities as genocide. This silence perpetuates the forgetting. The legacy of the 1971 genocide is a testament to the resilience of the Bangladeshi people. They rebuilt their nation from devastation, carrying the weight of immense loss. Their spirit endures. Remembering this tragedy is not merely an act of historical preservation. It is a moral imperative. We must ensure that such horrors are never repeated, anywhere in the world. The forgotten genocide of 1971 serves as a stark warning. It reminds us of the fragility of peace and the devastating consequences of unchecked power. We must learn from its lessons. By acknowledging the past, we honor the victims and empower future generations. We commit to vigilance against hatred and intolerance. The memory of 1971 must never fade. Bangladesh's independence was born from one of the bloodiest genocides of the 20th century, but the world barely remembers it. Share this video to honor the victims and ensure their story is not erased. And subscribe to the Turkish Odyssey, where we uncover silenced histories and give voice to the forgotten. Thank you for subscribing our channel. It's free to subscribe and best way to support us. Thank you for watching. See you in the next adventure.